Shalom, bro. This is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, and is run today by Commanding General YAHANNA, the man with the rank and the authority to be the leader of the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indian Americans at this time. The I.S.U.P.K is committed also to the re-education of the Blacks, Hispanic, and Native Americans who are the true Israelites of the Bible. I want to say Yahweh Basha Mewasha Barakatan to my brothers, Yahweh Shema Islet and Basha Mewasha to my sisters. Welcome to our Sunday afternoon scripture breakdown. All right. Salat for this late start. Making preparations for this high holiday coming up. Hello? Officer Clearman?
Gone, sir.
Today we're looking at our Passover. How did our Passover start? Who is to celebrate it? And why? Well, it was given by the Most High. But how did it started? All right, we're going right to where Passover start. Right there in Exodus. Exodus chapter 12, I think. Yeah.
Another one, gone. Let's start reading verse 1.
Hold on. Let me find it. Some food on the school. Book of Exodus, chapter 12. We're going from 1 to 16, then 17 to 28. All right. We're going to look at just the section that deals with the Passover. All right, Exodus 12, yeah.
Another one, gone. This is Exodus chapter 12, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, verse 2, this month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you.
All right, so right here now, at the beginning of spring, the Most High had established unto his people that is when the beginning of months start, or when we would say the year start, when we would have a new year. All right.
Gone.
From verse 3.
Verse 3, speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, in the 10th day of this month, they shall take to them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for an house.
All right, so you get a sheep, the young of a sheep, which is the lamb, and this is the lamb is, can use goat, but the lamb is really what we use. We in the UPK have been using lamb for what, 50 years now, to celebrate the Passover. Now there are some speculations, what do you call it now? Stipulations There are some criteria that we have to meet when celebrating Passover. Well, in any one of the festivals we have, you know, how old the animal should be, if you can use male or female, and so on. Now, this time, so far it says lamb, all right, and this
God.
according to the house of their fathers. So that lamb share up, because you one can eat a lamb. So share it with your house, your household, your father's house. Continue.
Another one can. Verse 4. And if the household to Salakia be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto him his house take it according to the number of the souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your count for the lamb.
All right. So if your house not, if your household not big enough, but to share it with me, that's basically what you're saying. And you will see when we read go down, you'll see why it's telling you like that. So in other words, you can slaughter a lamb. Say this is for the Passover, but the household can only consume half of it, and you put the next half on the fridge. You know, you put the next half for preserve. You preserve the next half. You can't do that.
Okay.
Continue.
God. So that Slakia, sir, that apply even to this day, right? Everything have to go in at the Passover night.
Well, I don't know how that's the way it's stated in the scriptures.
Okay.
I don't know what variants will be used when less person than can consume what to do with it. I.S.U.P.K. The generals and captains instruct accordingly.
Okay, God.
Verse what now?
Verse
5.
5. Another one can. Verse 5. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. He shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats.
Right, so you can use goat. It must be a male which is within a years old. Right? That means one when I start turn rammy yet, you know.
Yeah.
Right. And you know what, you understand what they say without blemish.
Cancer, one color consistently, no blemish or faults or injuries or anything like that.
Right. It can't be blind, it can't be barren, it can't
Yeah.
it can't be that it had a broken leg. You know, maybe it healed,
God.
but no, right. Um, no, nothing that look handicapped or so on.
God.
Perfect. The lamb must be
God.
perfect. Right, continue.
Another one can.
If you, sorry, if you use a goat, it's the same thing.
Say that
Same thing.
again, Slakia.
If it's a goat, it's the same thing.
Can.
No blemish. For 1 year old, male. Must be a male. No, this is the thing now, because all right, it must be a male within a years old without blemish. 6.
God. Another one can, verse 6. And he shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month. And the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening.
All right, so at this time, the lamb would have been slaughtered the same day that
God.
we're going to use it. And this one at this time was when the Mosai was going to slaughter the slaughter our oppressor in Egypt, right?
God.
So this is the way the Mosai wanted us to do it. To kill it that evening, continue 7.
Another one, verse 7. And they shall take of the blood and strike it on the 2 side posts and on the upper door posts of the house, wherein they shall eat it.
Right. So remember that story where they use the blood to mark. Hello. We don't eat that, you know. Yeah. We don't eat that. Yeah, no, I don't eat that. They use. There is I think we use it even in the UPK still. Collect the blood and use it on the venue of the Passover. But that was how Passover was celebrated, especially when you're in captivity. You slaughter and you put the blood over the doorposts, marking your house, your place of residence.
God.
All right, verse what now?
Verse 7.
7. Wherein they shall eat it. Okay. And you would eat the Passover within that same place that you mark.
God.
Eat.
Verse 8. And they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it.
All right. The Passover must be roasted. Flame roast. You know.
Yeah.
Maybe we Benjamin might just throw it in the pan and jerk it. That's flame roasted, right? And bitter herb, you must season. You have it seasoned. Right. 9.
Another one, verse 9. Eat not of it raw, nor sodden at all with water, but roast with fire.
You know, when you're cooking goat meat, or when you're cooking goat meat, or when normally cook it.
You normally either pressure that, you know what I mean, water throw in a pressure cooker, pressure it down, get it soft. You know what I mean, mutton. Talking about curry mutton or curry goat.
Right. So either curry it or brown stew, right?
God.
Well, that is what this is talking about. When you sodden it with water, that is it.
God.
But
so you're not supposed to. The Passover not supposed to slack you. The Passover not supposed to, you know what I mean, be done in that way then.
All right. We're not a podcast. Just that is what I'm saying. You don't sodden it with water.
Oh, the reason why I'm asking skill because remember me the reason with you and we talk about the same thing.
Hold on. It was a question you were asking now just now.
God, sir. And ask you.
All right. All right. No, let me explain. When we say we brown stew it or we curry it, that is sodden with water.
God.
So the Passover is not done that way. You roast it first. Right?
Okay. Roast it first.
Well, I know. We roast it. You can eat it straight roast.
God.
That was how it was eaten then. When we do most time, we kind of gravy it down, get it. You're not sodden, you get like a gravy with it. Can be eaten like that, but it is roasted. So it's not a brown stew or curry goat. It's roasted. Sorry, I mean brown stew or curried lamb. It's roasted, flame roasted. And it can't be eaten raw. So it's not, one of our people love to eat steak. The blood running out and it.
God.
Right. That is raw meat. The Passover cannot be eaten raw, cannot be salt in water. and
Okay.
just about fire. So his head, continue.
Another one can. His head with his legs and with the pertinence thereof.
All right. So that is what we talk about head and belly. So everything used up for the Passover. You use up the head, you use up the foot, you use up the pertinence, the tribe, the liver, everything should be used up for the Passover because you can't go eat any of it the next day. Verse 10.
Another one can. Verse 10. And he shall let nothing of it remain until the morning. And that
Mhm.
which remain of it until the morning he shall burn with fire.
So anything left over for dash, right, for burn up. Not just throw it and take it, feed animal or whatever. You put it to the flame and burn it. That's what is 11.
Another one can. Verse 11. And thus shall ye eat it, with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand. And ye shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover.
All right. So this one was the one that was we were instructed to in Egypt to eat it this way. Why? Because the most I know that you'll be thrust out. The Egyptians are going to come and run out before we even finish eating. So I'm saying get dressed. Just like how we have on our UPK, you put on your boots, put on your war scarf, put on your gears, and you eat the Passover. That's what we have done then, because the most I know that you'll be thrust out by your enemies to have you ready.
God.
All right. So in verse 12, we tell you why.
Another one can. Verse 12. For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and against all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgment. I am the Lord.
Right. Because at that moment, that night, something worse than corona, that the corona that we have now, something worse than that would have been passing through death. And it's not
God.
death of anyone, but death of the firstborn. Firstborn animal, firstborn mankind, man. Right? Because why touch the first one? Because we had known, mankind had known the importance of the firstborn to a father. That's the one who come and run things for him in his household, take over after him. So the Most High removed the firstborn from the Egyptians to let them know serious he was about protecting his only begotten children. Verse 1, 13.
Another one can. Verse 13. And the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses where ye are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you, and the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you, when I smite the land of Egypt.
Right. So think of we having Corona passing through, and all Israelites have something where we all in the Israelite will be asymptomatic. It Corona do you nothing. Well, in this time now, the thing that allowed the death to pass by was that blood over the doorpost. And we are coming right up to that time again when that celebration will be done amongst our people. What, 14 or 15?
14.
All right.
Verse 14. And this day shall be unto you for a memorial, and ye shall keep it a feast to the Lord throughout your generations. Ye shall keep
Meaning,
it a feast.
meaning,
Salakia. Go on.
meaning that this generation, the next generation, the one to come, all generations to come, we should have it as a high holy day. Today we just call it a holiday. The same way you would keep Easter, Christmas, you have it on your calendar. It's the same thing the Most High is commanding us to do with the Passover. We are to have it every year.
God.
All right, finish that.
Ye shall keep it a feast by an ordinance forever.
Right. Ordinance. That means we observe it, observe this day. Put it on the calendar. Every year we know what the Passover. 15.
Another one, God, verse 15. 7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread. Even the first day ye shall put away leaven out of your houses. For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the 7th day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel.
Right. So the Passover lasts for 7 days. Sorry, Passover is the first day, the second, and after that is the Feast of Unleavened Bread. So the whole thing lasts for 7 days. And during that time, there should be no leavening agent in the house. No baking soda, no baking powder, no yeast, no leavening agent should be inside the house. Now, you don't have to throw it away, but you keep it away from the house. Understand?
God.
All right, next, go on, continue.
Verse 16. And in the first day there shall be an holy convocation, and in the 7th day there shall be an holy convocation to you. No manner of work shall be done.
Finish it, the verse. Finish the verse.
No manner of work shall be done in them, save that which every man must eat, that only may be done of you.
The only work you're supposed to be doing is preparing the Passover, slaughter the lamb and prepare it for eating and baking the unleavened bread. Understand? And it says, on the first day there shall be an holy convocation, and in the 7th day, the first and the last day is an holy convocation. So if we were practicing it as a nation now, like we be in charge of ourselves, governing ourselves, you would have the first day being an holiday and the last day being an holiday.
God.
So that people can get to attend to their holy convocation for that time. Because that's what is stipulated by the Most High. That made it law.
Another one, verse 17. And ye shall observe the feast of unleavened bread, for in this selfsame day have I brought you your armies out of the land of Egypt. Therefore shall ye observe this day in your generations by an ordinance forever.
All right. So this must be on your calendar of events. On the new moons, you have that, and the other, you have, this is one of the days that you're going to have to celebrate. There were others that came in, but this was the first one that the Most High gave us. Now, the heathens copy this, and they have made any day that they think of importance to their idols, they have made those days an holiday. Proof: Easter, New Year's Day, Boxing Day, Christmas Day. What else?
Valentine's Day.
They don't make a Valentine's Day an holiday, but they observe it. Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving. Halloween. I think those are holidays. So they have copied those and made holidays from this unto their gods. When they talk about the Muslim, right? They have them Ramadan and other holidays, Muslim holidays. Hindu do it, right? So not only Christian do it really, only religions do it. Now, this was given to the Israelites though. We have them fake Jews now that come and them come into our way of life, take it over and celebrating the Passover. I don't know, maybe they are celebrating that they are going to suffer the same fate as the Egyptians suffer. I don't know. Probably. Them in their ignorance is doing it. Verse 18 now.
Canada 1 gun, verse 18. In the first month, on the 14th day of the month, at even, ye shall eat unleavened bread until the 120th day of the month, at even.
Right. So the first in the first month on the 14th day of the month at even. So if you want to know when the month really started, you see that day which is the Passover on 14 days before it. You saw? 14th day of the month at even. Yeah, man, they call 14 days before it. And yet that is when that is when the new year begin. First day of spring that would be. So it's a new account to know, when spring is. And that first day of spring, 14 days after.
Okay.
So that's why you find that sometimes Passover is in March, sometimes it is in April. It's the same thing. It's the same thing they do for Easter, but and behave as if that's not so. That's why they have Easter in this time and next time, because it's spring the follow. Because Easter is the celebration of the Queen of Heaven. They call, or you can say, Mother Nature. That was called Mother Nature at some time. So that is what that theirs is about. All right. Verse what now?
Verse 19.
All right.
Verse 19. 7 days shall there be no leaven found in your houses. For whosoever eateth that which is leavened, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he be a stranger or born in the land.
So whether he's a stranger or born in the land, if that person does what? Living in their house, they can be. Understand?
Yeah.
That's what the cutoff is. When they are cut off, yeah, put to bed, because they have living in your dwelling. And this time about the stranger, right? Now, if we let me see if we can find it. All right, verse what now? That was what, 19?
Verse 20.
Oh, not we just read 19.
Yeah.
Whether he be a stranger or born in the land. All right, we're looking in stranger, because this has to do with two kinds of stranger. All right, 20.
Canada 1 can, verse 20. Ye shall eat nothing leavened in all your habitations. Shall ye eat unleavened bread?
All right, so this is unleavened bread is just bread without leavening agent. You have everything else that you would put in a bread, minus the leavening agent. So basically, what you're left with is something like a dumpling. What we at the Benjamin call a dumpling, basically, but it is baked, it's baked, not saddening water, but baked, the one that is in the Passover. So think of you know how we do bami, where they put it in the fire and bake it. It's something similar to that. Or how they do wafer. You roll it, because of course you could make it thick like a dumpling. That is going to be tough. So you find a way to make it thin and you bake it without anything to give it a raise. What's now, 21?
Canada 1 can, verse 21. Then Moses called for all the elders of Israel and said unto them, draw out and take you a lamb according to your families, and kill the Passover.
Right. So Moses got the instruction from the Most High, and then Moses take it to the elders. The elders are ensure that each household understand. Get the Passover according to what the Most High said. A lamb of the first year without blemish, or a goat, and it must be a ram, must be a man, a male. And Moses instructed them, and then they went and they did it. All right. 22.
Canada 1 can, verse 22. And he shall take a bunch of hyssop, and dip it in the blood that is in the basin, and strike the lintel and the two side posts with the blood that is in the basin. And none of you shall go out at the door of his house until the morning.
All right. So stay inside and eat. So you cook by sundown, and you turn in with your food, and you have the celebration. You, of course, the best, as the Most I had said, and you stay inside and eat, because outside, this kind of remind us now, don't, with Corona, stay inside, because Corona outside. So this is now, that is outside. So what's the word quarantine? It's like a quarantine till in the morning. Curfew lockdown till morning, right? But this was the Most High that called this curfew till daylight. 23 now.
Canada 1 can, verse 23. For the Lord will pass through and smite the Egyptians. Slakia. For the Lord will pass through to smite the Egyptians. And when he seeth the blood upon the lintel and on the two side posts, the Lord will pass over the door and will not suffer the destroyer to come in unto your houses to smite you.
Right. So this is an angel passing through. The angel is outside and slaughtering, going through the land of Egypt, slaughtering all firstborn in any house that does not have the blood over the post, the door post, the lintel, and the two upright. You make a door jam
God.
with the two upright and the piece over the overhead. Right. So you do the same thing. That's what you're basically doing. Touch the blood and that, the upright part there and the two piece, the two part that goes up. Right. So when the angel see that, the angel will enter into your abode. Now, that was the only time the most I did something like that. 24.
Another one, verse 24. And ye shall observe this thing for an ordinance to thee and to thy sons forever.
When does forever end?
Forever ends never. Salakia.
Okay.
Forever never ends.
So why does the Christian church don't keep it? They say they're following the Most, they're following God, they're following Christ. Christ kept it, So why they don't keep it?
God.
Yeah, because they know that they are not the Israelites, and this was given unto the Israelites. 25.
Another one, verse 25. And it shall come to pass when ye be come to the land which the Lord will give you, according as he has promised, that ye shall keep this service.
So when you get into the land, you are to keep this Passover still. Remember how you keep it, pass it on generation to generation, and it must always be. Which is why when we're going to Passover, UPK Passover, you're in your priestly garment. You're ready.
God.
So it is time for the Most High to say, come. Then you're ready. All right. Yeah, continue.
Another one, verse 26. And it shall come to pass when your children shall say unto you, what mean ye by this service? Verse 27.
All right.
That
So
ye
in
shall say,
26, this is back then how we passed by generation to generation by inculcating good habits, practicing good habits. So it become a habit that we keep the Passover, we keep the high holy days, So when when the young ones come up and say, but why you do this? Then this is your opportunity now to explain to them how the Most High save his people in Egypt. And this was what we did as a people in order for us to be saved from that death angel. All right. Verse 27.
another one, verse 27. That he shall say, it is the sacrifice of the Lord's Passover, who passed over the houses of the children of Israel in Egypt, when he smote the Egyptians and delivered our houses. And the people bowed the head and worshipped.
All right. So times will be coming up again when the Most High will be delivering his people, that he'll be slaughtering the enemy and saving his people. That will be different this time, because he tell her that he will be slaughtering a 2/3, but that's what he says. But at the same time, he will slaughter those that are not on his side. So anyone that is caught not being on the Lord's side this time will be slaughtered. 28.
Another one can, verse 28. And the children of Israel went away and did as the Lord had commanded Moses and Aaron. So did they.
All right. Now, who is it that should keep the Passover?
The children of Israel.
All right. Where is that part that he said, the talk about the stranger?
Verse 19.
All right, 19, that says, 7 days shall there be no leaven found in your house, for whosoever eateth that which is leavened, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he be a stranger or born in the land. So this stranger is not talking about someone that is not an Israelite. This stranger is an Israelite. All right. Go to Leviticus 19. Read third.
Leviticus.
Leviticus 19, verse 33 and 34.
Another one can. This is Leviticus chapter 19, verse 33. And if a stranger sojourn with thee in your land, he shall not vex him.
All right, which stranger is this talking about? Read 34, let us see.
Verse 34. But the stranger that dwelleth with you shall be unto you as one born among you, and thou shalt love him as thyself. For ye were strangers in the land of Egypt. I am the Lord your God.
So this stranger now that you are to love as your lover, you shall love him as what?
But
As
the stranger that dwelleth with you shall be unto you as one born among you.
And you shall love him as you love thyself, as thyself. Which means you love him as the brother. You love him as an Israelite.
God.
So this stranger here is not talking about strangers of other nations. The Most High never give us any command to love the strangers from other nations as you would love yourself. Or else he wouldn't tell you that you should not take them to marriage. Understand?
God.
All right. Go to Deuteronomy 14 and 21.
Another one can. This is Deuteronomy chapter 14, verse 21. He shall not eat of anything that dieth of itself.
So this
Thou
is
shalt give him.
hold on. This is the Most High commanding you now not to eat anything that died that you don't know, and it wasn't you that killed it. Anything that died of itself, you don't eat it. Continue.
Another one can. Thou shalt give it unto the stranger that is in thy gates.
All right.
That he may eat it.
So this stranger now, remember now, I tell you, you should love this stranger as yourself. Don't?
God.
But now it is telling you that anything that dies of itself, you should not eat it, but you can give it to a stranger.
God.
So if that stranger was the same Israelite in both cases, then this will be contradictory, don't?
God.
Right. So this stranger in Deuteronomy that you can give a meat that die of itself is not an Israelite. This is a stranger that live among you. Because once you have a country, you will have other nation living there. But the laws are not, in our case, the laws are not one, well, everybody have to follow the law. But we have our laws that are we call dietary laws.
God.
This one. something like it says, you can't eat it. You can't even touch it. But a stranger of another, which is of another race can go and touch it. And he can also, if it's something that can be eaten, he can eat it.
Yeah.
So the Most High is not contradictory. It's just for us to read his word and understand. All right, finish that verse.
Another one can. That ye may eat it, or thou mayest sell it unto an alien. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. Thou shalt not seethe a kid in his mother's milk.
Seed.
Seethe.
Yeah,
A
like
kid in his mother's milk.
yeah, like the cooking the kid. You cook it down with milk like you would do a rundown, but the milk that you're using come from your own mother. Most I said don't do that. But this meat now is telling you that you can give it unto an alien, somebody who you don't know, not an Israelite, don't even live amongst you. You can give it to him. And you can also give it that meat to the stranger that is living amongst you. But you yourself is an holy people. You can't eat it. So this also show you that God don't love everybody. Right? And even in Christ's time, Christ showed it when the lady came to him for healing. And he said, I can take the children's bread and give it to the dog. Right?
Yeah.
So God don't love everybody. That's not true. All right. Now all right, let's go back to Exodus. Let me see what else is there. What else we can get from the Passover now. That time. All right, so read 28 now. Let's see what happened when we keep the Passover. When we keep the Passover.
Back to Exodus.
Come on.
Another one can. This is Exodus chapter 12, verse 28. And the children of Israel went away and did as the Lord had commanded Moses and Aaron. So did they.
Oh, we read that part already. 29, yeah.
Verse 29. And it came to pass that at midnight the Lord smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sat on his throne, unto the firstborn of the captive that was in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of cattle.
Mm-hmm. Down to the firstborn, prisoner. The dungeon and the prisoner. Down to the firstborn, prisoner was killed. 30.
Another one can, verse 30. And Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and all his servants and all the Egyptians. And there was a great cry in Egypt, for there was not a house where there was not one dead.
Mm-hmm. Dead throughout the land. 31.
Verse 31. And he called for Moses and Aaron by night, and said, Rise up, and get ye forth from among my people, both ye and the children of Israel, and go serve the Lord as ye have said.
Get up and come out of my place. I'm gonna kill you off. Go and go serve God just like what I say. Vex. All right, 32.
Verse 32. Also take your flocks and your herds, as ye have said, and be gone, and bless me also.
He's running them out, but he's telling say, bless me though. Because They take everything out of the one and come out of the place. The people causing death on us, man.
God.
All right. So 33 now. This is in the night, you know. And not even fear can't even wait till daylight because what? You people is causing a big strain on the empire right now. So come out. Hey,
Verse
33.
33. And the Egyptians were urgent upon the people that they might send them out of the land in haste. For they said, We be all dead men.
Right. Come out of the land quick before everybody in Egypt are dead. We'll be all dead men if we no stay. So go on. Continue.
Verse 34. And the people took their dough before it was leavened, their kneading trough being bound up in their clothes upon their shoulders.
All right. So then don't even get to finish eat the food. Okay, come out. 35.
Another one can. Verse 35. And the children of Israel did according to the word of Moses, and they borrowed of the Egyptians jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment.
At this time, you know, anything they ask for, they get because they see that God seriously backing you people. So take if you that gold, you know, take it, man, take it and go. You need anything else? Take this to man. Take all that every goal you see and you want it. Take anything you see and you want, and come on and go on before we did.
God.
All right, and it's gonna happen again, but this time it won't be trust out. That's what the Most I said. All right, verse 1.
Verse 36.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, so that they lent unto them such things as they required, and they spoiled the Egyptians.
Take all of what, even what wasn't led, just take and go. But who was the working force in Egypt then? It was us.
God.
It was an empire that was built on our backs, just like today. The Egypt of today is built on our backs, meaning we are the backbone of the society.
God.
We provide the labor, and you know, at the looks of things, their plans seem to gear at getting us back into cheap labor so that they can compete with China. Seem as if that's the direction they want to go. And the most I strike them with Corona, put an halt and plan because what? We should be coming out of slavery, but you can see the plans. All the things prior to Corona that they were doing against us was geared at stopping our bread. The Northern Kingdom, they build those cages for them before they go to their country and agitate them. So they would be coming down, being in cage, and next thing you know, what do you think happened? They just send them right into the field to pick those strawberries and, you know, what we call farm work,
God.
to go and work right on those farms. When they go on those farms, they will tell them, all right, if you want to come to the country, we can make you a citizen if you will go and work on this farm. And you know, they set the price for labor. And of course, that is going to be so cheap because they have to compete with China.
God.
Right. No, hear the terrible side of that. No, they don't have need for everybody. They don't need everybody for that. So they pick what they want down. What you think will happen to the rest? They find some way to kill them out. They will find some way to kill them. But the Most High is not permitting it to go that way because it's like a second slavery again. So that's not in our records. The things that are in our records, even what they call talk about Antichrist, and some people afraid I run up and down and talk, well, Antichrist will come. And the Antichrist has been around for so long. This time, this Egypt, not much different. Which is why we take in the UPK, we take the Passover so serious. Right? Because the Most High likened our departure for this one as to the first. He said, this time you won't be thrust out. And if you remember the first time you were thrust out during the Passover. So maybe the Passover will be an interesting turning point in our captivity. Each time we keep the Passover. But back then it was just one Passover that was kept during that time. We don't know how much the Most High will use at this time. But we know that keeping the Passover is significant between the Most High putting a wedge, showing the difference between us and the oppressors. Very important in these days. What verse we are at?
We're at verse
36? Oh, 37 now.
Verse 37. Verse 37. And the children of Israel journeyed from Ramses to Succoth, about 600,000 on foot that were men besides children.
All right.
Verse.
So 600,000, remember now? Why they name the men? 600,000 that were men. And then just say, and children and women and mixed multitude. Why is it so? Because of all right. Ezekiel 34 and 31. Book of Ezekiel 34, verse 31.
Another one gone. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 34, verse 31. And ye, my flock, the flock of my pastures, are men, and I am your God, saith the Lord.
All right. So this is why now in our nation, when we were living, when we had our government that was run by all laws that the Most High gave us, the man must go to the Passover. The woman may go, but the man must go. And why? And the children may go. Why it was that way? And they don't put the must on the female because she can't enter the congregation during her unclean time, and sometimes that time come just right in the Passover. So the Most High not holding that against them. You can't, you're unclean, you can't go. Any man that is excluded is a man that have some kind of sickness that makes him unclean as well. Or he is incapacitated, meaning, maybe in a coma or some sickness or something like that. But you're a big, able-bodied man, you have to go. So here now they tell you in Exodus now, approximately 600,000 men. So that is the army of the Lord then, 600,000 men. So these 600,000 men now, they are the protectors for these children and for these women. It's not like now, where the black man is so demonized. Right? The woman, our black woman, her husband is the state. Well, that is so in America. The husband is the state. The husband give her, the state is the husband. The state provide her with welfare. The state give her even welfare housing. So she now look on you as, what you for? I get house here, so I get money. So what you for? Is a lazy, good for nothing, worthless, blah, 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 you name it. And the state then turn around and allow her to take you into prison or to lock up or to the courts for child support. So you become worthless and in her eyes. But here now, coming out of Egypt, the Most High numbered his men. His men were the soldiers, the armies, the warriors. That is why U.K, the men is the backbone of the Most High's flock. Right? Never send a woman to battle at camp. We don't do that. We go and we do our battles as men. Because we are the protectors. And we are taking back that icon to ourselves. The other person might not like it, but boy, God is with us. Just like he was with us in the first Egypt, we know that he is with us in the second Egypt. So we know from henceforth here, we haven't seen death yet. Death coming like, in the truth, we're going to have to just train our system to get used to hearing and seeing death around us. Not coming our way, but when the Most High seek to remove those that are not with him. You just have to go just know, say, boy, that's just the way it is. And we seek ways to stand strong, because we will once again be the protectors of the Most High's women and children. All right, verse 38. This is in America, or they put it in America now. All men are made equal. The melting pot. So this mixed multitude now, out of many one people. Now, the Bible, the writer here just named them as a mixed multitude. Now, these were persons who marry into our nation. Our woman who went and take a man who was an Egyptian or of another race. Our men who went and take women of other races. That formed the mixed multitude. And that out of many one people, we see where they get so many trouble in the wilderness. I mean, it's like, just like we experience it here in Jamaica. It's an unfinished statement. Out of many, one people as the world. All right? Back then in Egypt, out of many, out of the mixed multitude came forth that first push on us in the wilderness to go and worship other gods. Out of this multitude, mixed multitude came the murmuring. They caused our people to murmur.
God.
You know, if I was in Egypt, you know, the big fish I would be eating now. You know, I mean, they're Egypt, but in a party, you know, today I sat, today what, Sunday night, I would be in a party, you know just on the where I walk through sun. Can't even find water for bathe. You understand? Those kind of murmurings at the most I eat. Oftentimes, it's the mix that is around us who does not understand our ways, who prod our people by prodding the ones that they are close to, like their children, prod them to become problems among us. And we saw where that happened again in the time of Nehemiah when they were rebuilding the temple. All right, 39.
Another one, verse 39. And they baked unleavened cakes of the dough which they brought forth out of Egypt, for it was not leavened, because they were thrust out of Egypt and could not tarry, neither had they prepared for themselves any victual.
Right. So we didn't prepare anything to travel with. I mean, the only thing we had ready there was the Passover. And that was one thing I had to eat. We have to eat the adlin cake. I have to eat dumpling, which we brought forth out of Egypt. Right? So these cake didn't even get to bake off, so it have become dump. We make them boil them or roast them or fry them or something. Just to make them in a dumpling. We don't have anything else. We never prepare for the journey food wise. We just eat unleavened bread there. All right. All right. Finish this and then we'll look at how the Musa will be doing it this time. Continue.
Another one, verse 40. Now the sojourning of the children of Israel who dwelt in Egypt was 430 years.
430 years we spent in Egypt. Mm-hmm.
Another one, verse 41. And it came to pass at the end of the 430 years, even the selfsame day, it came to pass that all the hosts of the Lord went out from the land of Egypt.
So you know what this is saying, even the self same day. You don't have to tell us exactly 430 years.
God.
To the date. That is why I tell you, man. They say, most I don't make mistakes, you know. He said that we will be sojourning in a land that is not ours 400 years, and they did 430 in that land. And it wasn't 430 years of all oppression, you know, because I remember in the time of Joseph, we were we in the time of Joseph, we were taken care of. We weren't oppressed. It was long after we started the oppression start.
God.
Now this time, 400 years that we did in this Egypt, it was oppression from day one. Those of us from the north, the southern kingdom came over here as slaves. The northern kingdom was here. Even them had to hide too. Hide in the bush. That's why you have so many in the central down to South America. You have so many
indigenous
forest people, right?
God.
Where you know you go as deep as you go in the forest, you see people. They are Israelites.
God.
I wonder how they are going to be the most. I said, not this is going to take them out back, you know. I don't know, but our ways is not his way. So we can't, with our carnal thinking, think how we will do it. After us know that he says he's going to do it, and it is going to happen. All right, 42.
Another one can. Verse 42. It is a night to be much observed unto the Lord for bringing them out from the land of Egypt. This is that night of the Lord to be observed of all the children of Israel in their generation.
All right. So that until this day is remembered. Or spoken of, I should say. All right, read 43.
Another one can, verse 43. And the Lord said unto Moses and Aaron, this is the ordinance of the Passover. There shall no stranger eat thereof.
All right. So you see, this stranger now is not Israelite.
God.
This stranger that he's talking about is a stranger of the mixed multitude, stranger of the other race. So even 1 year in the desert, Passover time again, no stranger eating that time. No mixed multitude eating. All right, read 44.
Another one can, verse 44. But every man's servant that is bought for money, when thou hast circumcised him, then shall he eat thereof.
Okay. The servant that is to you have to do what you do. 45.
Another one can, verse 45. A foreigner and an hired servant shall not eat thereof.
All right, so that hired servant is the one who you pay to work for you. Right?
Silakia, say that again, sir.
That hired servant, that's the man
God,
who you pay to work for you.
God,
So him shall not eat thereof. This is hired
God,
servant of another race. So basically, the man who is not an Israelite, he don't eat it.
God,
Unless he's one who is your slave. Then
God.
he will have to do what you tell him to do. Continue.
Another one can, verse 46. In one house shall it be eaten. Thou shalt not carry forth aught of the flesh abroad out of your house, neither shall ye break a bone thereof.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 47. All the congregation of Israel shall keep it.
All right. So all Israelites shall keep it. 48.
Verse 48. And when a stranger shall sojourn with thee, and will keep the Passover to the Lord, let all his males be circumcised, and then let him come near and keep it. And he shall be as one that is born in the land, for no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof.
All right. So which of the stranger this is now? The stranger that is an Israelite. Is a stranger in this. All right. If we leave and we go to Trinidad, there are strangers there, ain't it?
God.
But we'll be among Israelites. So you going to another land that is of your people, you are allowed to celebrate, keep the celebration with them as long as you are circumcised. That was the law. All right. 49.
Another one can, verse 49. One law shall be to him that is homeborn, and unto the stranger that sojourneth among you.
All right. The one law for the Israelite who born in this land and the one who born abroad and come back to sojourn among you. You know.
God. Verse 50. Thus did all the children of Israel as the Lord commanded Moses and Aaron. So did they. Verse 51. And it came to pass the selfsame day that the Lord did bring the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt by their armies.
By their what?
By their armies.
Right. So you have 12 different, this kind of 12 different army regiments, eh? Because there were 12 tribes of number according to our old. But guess what? Even though it was like that at that time, you know, Christ still kept the Passover thousands of years after, you know. Let's go to Matthew 26.
Matthew?
Yes. Chapter 26. 17 to 20.
Canada one can. This is Matthew chapter 26, verse 17. Now the first day of the feast of unleavened bread, the disciple, let me read again. Now the first day of the feast of unleavened bread, the disciple came to Jesus, saying unto him, where wilt thou that we prepare for thee to eat the Passover?
Right. So in Jesus' time, the disciples ask him, all right, we want to prepare for the Passover this time. Because by this time, Christ has become like a wanted man. Can't go out in the open because they want to kill him. But he want to keep the Passover serious. So they did from a secret location. Verse 18.
Canada one can, verse 18. And he said, go into the city to such a man, and say unto him, Master said, my time is at hand. I will keep the Passover at thy house with my disciples.
Right, so it was prepared already where they should just tell such person that the master said that he's ready to keep the Passover in their house. Because just as already, it must be kept. You keep it where? Keep it in one house.
God.
Your house will keep the Passover. The only convocation is you go to the temple to hear the reading of the law on that day. All right, now, but the roasting of the lamb and so on, they done at your own.
Canada one can, verse 19. And the disciples did as YAHANNA had appointed them, and they made ready the Passover.
Okay.
Verse 20. Now when the evening was come, he sat down with the 12.
All right. So Christ did the Passover. Christ wasn't celebrating Easter. Easter is mentioned in Acts as a misprint. But yeah, somebody listening now, Christ couldn't keep Easter because he didn't die yet. We know that. But at the same time, his disciples kept it and he instructed them to keep it and keep it. Drop down to 26.
Canada one can, verse 26. And as they were eating, YAHANNA took bread and blessed it and brake it and gave it to the disciples and said, take, eat, this is my body.
All right. So this bread that Christ break, you know, they break a bread in some of the churches. They use the regular bread, leavened bread that you would buy in the shop. This bread that Christ was eating is unleavened bread because it was the Passover. Right. 27.
Canada one can, verse 27. And he took the cup and gave thanks and gave it to them, saying, drink ye all of it. Verse 28. For this is my blood of the New Testament, which is shed for many for the remissions of sins.
All right. So, and the Passover blood was being used in the Passover, right? And that blood was the blood of a lamb that you put over your doorpost. Now, Christ is telling you that, yeah, you keep the Passover he gave his disciple a cup, probably with some wine, and he says, "This symbolizes my blood." Now, this blood is not going over the doorpost, but it's for the remission of sins of those of us who will be breaking the covenant. 29.
Another one, verse 29. But I say unto you, I will not drink henceforth of this fruit of the vine until that day when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom.
So he will be not keeping them more the Passover until we reach in the kingdom.
God.
That's what Christ told his disciples. And that's what, as he said it, we know that that's what is going to happen. So Christ kept the Passover. Now the Passover was for the deliverance of the Most High's people. But how will the people be delivered this time? How we go again? All right. What is this one? Second Peter 3, 10 to 18. Let me see what it says. Second Peter 3. All right, go to Second Peter's 3 and 10.
3 and 12.
10. 10.
Another one, can. Another one can. This is 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up.
So this is talking about that global nuclear war.
God.
Great noise, that's the explosion. The elements shall melt with fervent heat, that's the fire from the bomb.
God.
And we know that is World War III. This is the time of our Exodus, right? Now that's just one way. This time, coming out of this Egypt is not just one line of people walking out like that. The Most High have serious plans for this one because it's going to ensure that those that are on the earth understand that they should leave the Most High people alone.
God.
He's going to ensure that they understand this time. Um, all right. Another one we can go to is just like the Egypt before, we went through the separation. The Most High to come and deliver us this time, same thing. But we are told not to take matters into our own hands. Go to Romans 12 and 19.
Another one can. This is Romans chapter 12, verse 19. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath, for it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord.
All right. So that justice that we want on the Black Lives Matters, nah, we ain't gonna get it that way. That's not the way we're going to get justice. What we read about in Second Peter, that's the way we are going to get justice. Right? That's the time when these people will be getting justice from these other nations by him slaughtering them. He's the one who's going to repay. Repay for, what's his name? George Floyd and all them others. He will repay, says the Lord. He will deliver the enemy into our hands. All right, now All right. I'm searching for that one where the Most High said, this time, don't see if we can find it again. One last try. Still giving me Exodus. Deuteronomy. Somewhere in more than example. Okay. All right. All right. Then we're going in Thessalonians 4 and 17. First Thessalonians 4 and
Another
17.
one, son.
Who is that one?
Where's the 4 and 17?
Let me double check it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 16 and 17.
Another one, can. This is First Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 16. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the
All right.
voice of
The Lord himself shall descend from heaven, coming down in those chariots.
God.
That's a rescue mission this time, not marching into the desert on foot. He's coming down with the chariot to take his people up. And it's how we describe it. The Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout. That's why it says, all I shall see him. Continue.
Another one, can. With the voice of the archangel and with the trump of God. And the dead in Christ shall rise first.
Right. Continue.
Another one, can. Verse 17. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air, and so we shall be with the Lord.
And so shall.
And so shall we ever be with the Lord. Salakia.
Right. So that's the rescue mission this time, not from marching through the desert as in Moses' time. The Lord himself, who is Yahweh, shall descend from heaven because the scripture says we're coming down in like manna in the dust, and we're descending from heaven with the voice of the archangel and the trump of God. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them. That is when the dead in Christ rising first.
God.
And we now caught up with them to meet him in the air. That's the 1/3 when we leave. When we leave. All right. So that's the rescue plan this time. Question. Hello.
Yeah, and the same question, just clarification. So after you roast the lamb, then you can, you know what I mean, cook it down, steam it down with some gravy, or just you have to just leave it like that.
No, man, I can sauce it down.
Say that again.
I can sauce it down. Gravy it down.
I mean, like steam it down.
Yeah. I can cook it down as long as you roast it.
Okay, good.
Yeah. You gravy it down. There's a lot of things changing because it also said that the man who's uncircumcised can't keep the Passover done.
Good.
Right. And then the New Testament they say, now what glory is it or what is it in circumcision? So the man who is uncircumcised can keep it. So but we should still try and stick to the lamb without blemish, the lamb that is a male, the lamb or she or goat that is
Good.
1 year old without blemish, stick to all those.
Good.
Right. That's it.
Concert.
All right, with that, we pass class over to Mr. Officer Kayadwan.
All right, clap it up. All right. Hold on. Let me get the rest of the security announcement.
Your cover, better cover. Get something over here.
All right. This is the I.S.U.P.K security announcement. We are the I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General YAHANNA. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or a sister comes into the school, they are off limit for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or a sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or a sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or the sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, you can find this in Numbers 18 and 21, Malachi 3, verse 8 to 10. Means tenth in the Hebrew and is pronounced ma'aisha. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you'd like to give. Upcoming holy convocation, that is the Passover, The Passover is the 14th day of the first month, you know what I mean? And this year it is on Saturday, April 24, which is this Saturday coming up. You understand? You can find the Passover, Slovakia. It will be held in Houston, Texas. You know what I mean? At the B&H Ranch. You understand? You can check on social media, I.S.U.P.K social media for more information on that. You understand? You can find the Passover in Exodus chapter 12, verse 1 to 51, Leviticus 23, 4 to 5, 1 Corinthians 5, 7 to 8, and 2 Chronicles 30 and 70. Reminding Akiam and Aquatium to check on social media such as isupk.com, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for events and material. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he is to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirt, pants, headband, and our scarf. And with that, we say a margin, which means to stand. We're going to start and face the east. Abanawa. Tabashemaya. Quadash. Aya.
Chamka. Yahawa.
What?
Lagwatka. Taba'a.
Zai.
Adazai. Aya.
Isha.
Aisha.
Barataza.
Kawa.
Aya. Masamaya.
Nathan. Lanawa. Lakam. Kal. Yawam. Wasalak Lanawa. Kawabwat Nawa. Wasalak Nawa. Kawabwat Yanawa. Wala'a. Tabayanawa. Banasayawan. Abal.
Awashainawa. Aya. Slakia.
Maya.
Rai. Kaya. Laka. Amalakwat.
Wahala. Watapara.
La'ai Walamyam.
Amen. In English, Our Father which art in heaven,
Our Father which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven.
Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven.
Give us this day our daily bread.
Give us this day our daily bread.
And forgive us our debts.
And forgive us our debts.
As we forgive our debtors.
As we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not into temptation.
Lead us not into temptation.
But deliver us from evil.
But deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom.
For thine is the kingdom.
And the power.
And the power.
And the glory.
And the glory.
Forever.
So
be it. Prayer for the curses. Blessed are you, Yahweh.
Blessed are you, Yahweh.
King of heaven and earth.
King of heaven and earth.
And all things living.
And all things living.
Yahweh.
In
the name of Yahweh Shai.
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
Listen to us now.
Listen to us now.
right now.
Right now.
Send evils and curses,
Send evils and curses,
and punishment and destruction
and punishment and destruction
to the heathens
to the heathen
that speak against us,
that speak against us,
thy prophets,
thy prophets,
the teachers,
the teachers,
the princes,
the princes,
the priests,
the priests,
the Israelite brothers and the school.
the Israelite brothers and the school.
Send evils and curses,
Send evils and curses,
and punishment and destruction
and punishment and destruction
to the heathen,
to the heathen,
and shake loose the treasures of the rich of Israel,
and shake loose the treasures of the rich of Israel
that refuse to give to the school.
that refuse to give to the school.
Force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary.
Force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary.
Send evils and curses,
Send evils and curses,
and punishment and destruction
and punishment and destruction
to the Edomites,
to the Edomites
and the nations,
and the nations
and their drug dealers,
and their drug dealers,
the court system,
the court system,
prison system,
the prison system,
Planned Parenthood,
Planned Parenthood,
all the governments of our enemies,
all the governments of our enemies,
Amalek synagogues and armies,
Amalek synagogues and armies,
Roman Catholic Church,
Roman Catholic Church,
the Pope,
the Pope,
Islam,
Islam,
Christianity,
Christianity,
Egyptology,
Egyptology,
militia,
militia,
Ku Klux Klan,
Ku Klux Klan,
Aryan Nation,
Ariel Nation,
skinheads,
skinheads,
Posse Comitazi,
Pasikomatazi,
gay movement,
the gay movement,
lesbian movement,
the lesbian movement,
spies,
spies,
workers of witchcraft,
workers of witchcraft,
NASA space programs,
NASA space program,
Army,
Army,
Navy,
Navy,
Air Force,
Air Force,
Marines,
Marine,
Wall Street.
Wall Street,
Open up the internet
open up the internet
and the airways,
and the airways,
the cable access channels,
cable access channel,
and the radio channels.
and the radio channel.
Convict the spirit of any of thy people
Convict the spirit of any of thy people
that seek to stop us
that seek to stop us
and bring swift destruction
and bring swift destruction
to all the heathen
to all the heathens
that stand in the way, that stand in the way,
that stand in the way
or try to stop us
or try to stop us
from broadcasting your words
from broadcasting your word
throughout the planet Earth.
throughout the planet Earth.
Let loose all the plagues,
Let loose all the plagues,
cause them to go to and fro
cause them to go to and fro
through the earth
through the earth
and consume them.
and consume them.
Let the plague shake
Let the plagues shake
the house of the thief
the house of the thief
and
and the murderer.
let Yahawashai,
Let Yahawashi,
Michael and Gabriel
Michael and Gabriel
come down with the flying saucers
come down with the flying saucers
and punish all the heathens
and punish all the heathens
that come up against us
that come up against us
as we speak thy word.
as we speak thy word.
Cause it to be known by all
Cause it to be known by all
that it is the angels that hath done it.
that it is the angels that has done it.
Cause it to be spread through the media
Cause it to be spread through the media
throughout the whole world.
throughout the whole world.
Cause them to shake at thy coming.
Cause them to shake at thy coming.
In the name of Yahawashai.
In the name of Yahawashi.
Thank you, always so be.
Thank you always, so be it.
Prayer for the poor.
This is the prayer for the poor in the Hebrew. Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh
Yahweh Basham Yahweh
Baba Kwasha,
Baba Kosha,
Nathan Lanawa,
Nathan Lanawa,
Akak,
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 Nakak,
Larpa,
Larapa,
Kalmakala,
Kalmakal,
Wakalmadawa,
Kalmadawa,
Akak,
Akak,
Lata'ar,
Latahar,
Amatarzuriam,
Matazarian,
Akak,
Akak,
Lahakwayam,
Lahakwayam,
Amatayam,
Mathiam,
Akak,
Akak,
Ilwakawa,
Ilwakawa,
Atamala,
Atamala,
Lagarashan,
Agara,
Bahasham Yahweh
Bahasham Yahweh,
Tawara Aman,
Tawada Aman. In English, Yahweh in the name of Yahweh.
Yahweh in the name of Yahweh.
Please give us the power.
Please give us the power.
The power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease.
The power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease.
The power to cleanse the lepers.
The power to cleanse the lepers.
The power to raise the dead.
The power to raise the dead.
The power against unclean spirits.
The power against unclean spirits.
To cast them out in the name of Yahweh.
To cast them out in the name of Yahweh.
Thank you, so be.
Thank you, so be. All right, one courtesy salute to the teacher. Amajum Shabbat. Amajum Barak. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Barakatam.
Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Barakatam.
Yaramata. One courtesy salute to the sisters. I'm turning and face the sisters. Amajum Shabbat. Amajum Barak. Yahweh Shema Elatan Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Yaramata. Class dismissed.
All right. Capon, you there?